So, hello everyone. My name is Rajiv Talreja, and I'm here to present an idea to all of you, which I call the idea of an and life. So, consider this that as humans, there are 7 areas in our life, 7 areas that matter to all of us. The first one is our health, the second is our relationships, the third is the wealth that we are going to be creating, the fourth is our business or our careers. And what you need to understand is your business or your career contributes to your income. How you save and invest that money determines the wealth you create for yourself. The fifth area of all our lives is recreation. And okay, this thing's not working. You'll have to, can you turn this a bit? Can you keep it this way? Okay. Cool. So do I start again? Yeah. All right. One more time. Okay. So I'll tell you, whatever's happening right now is superbly in theme with what I'm going to talk about. Because the conversation I'm going to have with you about is imperfection. Okay. So this is a divine intervention on proving to you that imperfection is still sexy. Okay. So I want to break that down for all of you. So consider this. My name is Rajiv Talreja. I'm going to present an idea to you called the and life. And the idea behind an and life is that as humans, we have 7 areas of our life. The first is our health. By now, you know my presentation. The second is our relationships. The third is the wealth we create. The fourth is our business or career. The fifth is recreation, what we do to rejuvenate ourselves, to re-energize ourselves. The sixth is contribution. And the seventh is our spiritual evolution. Now, consider this. While these 7 areas are critical to every human, as you go through the journey of life, there are fundamentally 2 approaches of living life. There are some people who live an or life. Now, what is an or life? The idea behind an or life is where you see people say this, right? I can either focus on my health or I can focus on my business or career. I can either focus on my relationships or I can focus on creating wealth. How many of you have heard people say this, right? Some of you are not married. This increases as you get married. Those of you are dating, you realize this already. Okay? Because this is what happens. We use the perspective of or because we've been conditioned to believe. How many of you have heard this statement? You can't have it all in your life. Have you heard that? Yeah. Let me tell you this. Whoever told you you can't have it all in life is the wrong role model to follow. Because they are getting you to lose the game even before you started playing the game. You have one life. And in this one life, the least you can do is pursue. What's the word, everyone? The least you can do is pursue what I call the idea of an and life. Now, what is the perspective behind an and life? The idea originates from the conversation that what if, as a human, I am seeking progress, and the word I'm using is progress, not perfection. What if as a human I'm seeking progress in my health and in my relationships and in my wealth creation and in my business or career and in my recreation and in my contribution and in my spiritual growth? How would that life be? And I genuinely believe that when a person embarks on this journey of an and life, they live a more holistic, a more fulfilled, and a more balanced life in comparison to a person who brags about an or life. Like, it's fashion today for startup founders to proclaim that you got to make your work your life. You got to put in 16 to 18 hours per day, only then you can achieve anything significant, worthy of called success. But the reality is this, that's a broken life. That's a broken life. And this idea of a broken life is sold by people who have not experienced a holistic life for themselves. And unfortunately, these are the people we see as role models. The truth is this. If you really want to just focus on your career and your work, then why marry someone and spoil their life? Think about it. Okay? If you just want to be focused on wealth, then how will you take care of your emotional connection with people? If you just want to take care of your health, then who's going to bring the money home? You want to understand this. Each one of these 7 areas complete us and give us the experience of being human. But unfortunately, we've been conditioned to believe that you can't have it all. Now, what I want to challenge you today is with a perspective of living an and life. Because this was a question that bothered me quite a bit. When I started my journey as an entrepreneur in 2006, I wanted to ask myself this question. What is true success? Is it making money? Is it having a happy family? Is it being healthy and fit? Is it having vacations and traveling the world? And each one of them felt incomplete in isolation. And that's when I started studying people. And in my study of people, I started benchmarking people on 2 parameters. The first parameter is the parameter of achievement. The second parameter is the parameter of fulfillment. Achievement is external. Fulfillment is internal. Achievement is tangible. Fulfillment is emotional. And when I started looking at life and people from these 2 parameters of achievement and fulfillment, not just in money, not just in business, but even in relationships, even in their health, I found 4 types of people. The first type of people are people who are low on achievement and also low on inner fulfillment, which means they don't create any kind of progress in their health or their wealth or their relationships or their business or their career or their contribution. And neither do they feel complete on the inside. Neither do they experience joy on the inside. These are the people who land up in this quadrant, which I call the quadrant of depression. Now, when I use the word depression, I'm also pretty sensitive to mental health issues. And my biggest challenge with the idea of mental health is it gets trivialized by people who seek attention and they don't understand the gravity of it from a clinical point of view. For me, these people here who are low on achievement and low on fulfillment are people who are not willing to take responsibility. They enjoy being a victim. And that's why they land up here. And I'm not talking about people who have clinical depression, because that's a different topic altogether and requires a different level of expertise to talk about. Then you have the second type of people. These are people who are high on achievement, but they are low on fulfillment. These people feel dejected. I've had clients who have bank balances that run into hundreds of crores, but they give me a call and say, Rajiv, I don't feel good about myself. I don't know why I'm not experiencing joy in my life. I've had clients who are in professional services like doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants, and they share with me, Rajiv, there are days I don't want to go to my clinic and see another patient. All those degrees that I have, all that qualification that I've gathered, for me it's meaningless. And this got me thinking, why are these people who from the view of society have achieved everything that they would love to achieve, why do they feel empty on the inside? Would you like to know why? Ask me why. Because these people made a classic mistake. They made the mistake of linking their goals and their happiness. How many of you have heard people say this? When I make this much money, then I will be happy. When I build this kind of a business, then I will be. When I will lose this much weight, that's when I will be happy. Now, when you attach your inner fulfillment to your external achievement, the mistake you're fundamentally making is through that journey of building that business, through that journey of becoming fit, you're practicing being unhappy. Because you've given yourself the permission to be happy only when you achieve that goal, yes or no? Now, when you practice being unhappy through the journey, unhappiness becomes a habit. So the day you achieve that goal, not like this lightning going to strike, heaven's doors going to open, angels descending and saying you are the chosen one, and you'll feel some electric shocks in your body to suddenly feel happy. These two are parallel lines. They are like a railway track, achievement and fulfillment. If you connect these two and you attach them, your train, what will happen? Will get derailed. And that's what happens to people who are high on achievement, low on fulfillment. Because they've just practiced being unhappy. And when they achieve those goals, they still feel a sense of void, emptiness, hollowness, and they feel dejected. Then you have the third set. The third set is a very, very interesting set of people. These are people who are low on achievement and high on fulfillment. These are people living in a delusion. Okay? Like the Gen Z likes to call them. These are the delulus. Okay? Because they are deceiving themselves. They are selling a lie to themselves. These are the type of people who are toxic positive people. You know what is toxic positivity? Career will be broken. You ask them, how's work? Mind blowing. Relationship will be dysfunctional. You ask them, how's life? Can't be better. Okay? Sometimes these people pretend to be spiritual as well. Okay? How's life? Oh, it's God's gift. I'm like, normal insan aise baat nahi karta. Okay? These are your nashedis. Okay? These are the kind of people who are high on substances and they are living a delusion. Done nothing, doing nothing, don't intend to do anything, but float as though they are levitating enlightened souls. Dangerous people. If you find them around you, run away from them because they can suck your energy. And that's when I realized that low achievement, low fulfillment is a broken life. High achievement, low fulfillment is a broken life. Low achievement, high fulfillment is also a broken life. So what's the purpose? What's the goal? The goal is to create progress. And I use this word again. To create progress in your achievements and progress in your inner fulfillment. And that's the journey of true success. That's the journey of living a holistic life. Now the key is to create progress. It's not about perfection. Because the reality is this. You know, in the journey of pursuing goals, what's the lowest emotional point that a person experiences? Would you like to know? Once they achieve the goal. Because after they achieve it, they're like, that's it. Right? So, instead of playing this game of chasing goals, if you just played the game of progress, where you looked at, how do I get better? Because, trust me, no matter how much money you make, you'll always look at the next level. No matter how happy you are in the relationship, you'll always look at the next level in that relationship, hopefully in the same one. Okay? No matter how healthier you get, you will always look for what's that next level for you to be younger, fitter, stronger. So the goal is progress. And when you embrace progress as the goal, you have a playfulness to your journey. How many of you agree to that? Yes? Now, why am I sharing this with you? What has this got to do with the conversation we are having today? How does this lead to living an and life, a holistic life? Let me break it down to you through a little story. That is me. That is me in 2013 with my two little sisters. I know I look fitter, stronger, sexier right now. Okay. And that was a stage of my life where I was pursuing perfection. I started my journey as an entrepreneur in 2006, and I had this perception that I got to make crores of rupees, and if I don't, I'm not good enough. Okay? And entrepreneurship is one of those journeys where what you plan is not what you experience. So I got punched in the face in my business. This was a stage of my life where I was bloated, broke, and broken. If you met me in 2013 and you asked me, what's your vision? What's your goal? And then, ye vision, goal, ye sab kuch nahi hota. If I make 60,000 rupees a month and take money back home, life is sorted. That was the thought process. Ki ghar chal jayega. That was the mindset. And if you looked at me in 2013 and you told me, what is this yaar? You've gone bald. Okay, you're just 27 years old. Look at you, and you're so bloated. You're not taking care of your health. I'd have been like, bro, one life, bro. Eat what you want. Everyone has to die. You know, we humans are masters of reasoning. We have the most virtuous reason for every dysfunctionality that we carry in our mindset. Yes or no? And this was the stage of my life where there was no direction and I was bitter. If you ask me, do you trust people? I was like, never trust people. Yeah. You ask me, what do you think about success? I would say stuff like, it's not in everybody's luck. It's not in everybody's destiny. It's not in everybody's fate. Now, this entire journey of starting a business in 2006, being broke by 2013, losing a sense of self, and by the way, this hair, there's no transplant. Huh? Just clarifying. It's just that when you become happier in life, your body responds. Okay? And most people don't understand that. Most people don't understand that. So, this was a stage of my life where I had given up on everything because I had given up on myself. You know, different people give up on themselves when it comes to different aspects of their life. Some people give up on their ability to create wealth. They believe, I will never be successful. Some people give up on their ability to find true love because they feel, I don't think I'll find anybody who will understand me. Some people give up on their ability to be fit and strong because they feel, oh, I'm born with these genetics, I can't do anything about it. Now, this was the stage of my life where I'd given up on pretty much everything. My health, my wealth, my relationships, every single aspect of my life was broken. And the reason, the root cause for being broken was because of my relationship with myself. Because this was a stage in my life where internally, how I saw myself, how I related to myself, the emotions I experienced towards myself were filled with blame, were filled with guilt, was filled with I'm not good enough, was filled with shame. Anybody here experience any of these or all of these emotions? If you're keeping your hands down right now, you're lying. Because this is a part of being human. And this blame towards self, this guilt, this shame, this I'm not good enough conversation that we repeatedly have is nothing but a relationship of resistance that we build towards ourselves. Now, why do we get into resistance with ourselves? Don't you think it's quite insane that we resist ourselves? The most important person in our life, we don't love that person enough. We don't accept that person enough. We don't embrace that person enough. And that is because of 3 lies. And the fundamental foundation of that lie is this statement. The statement that your resistance is an act of ignorance. Why do I say this? That your resistance is an act of ignorance. Because you have bought in and believed the 3 lies that I bought in and I believed in. So let me break down those 3 lies for you today. Here's the first biggest lie that we've all been trained in really well. Through society, through parents, through educational institutions. We've been conditioned to believe this lie, which is what I call the illusion of control. What is the illusion of control? How many of you have ever had this expression in your life? And I'm sure you have it every single day. The expression of, this should be like this, they should be like this, life should be like this, work should be like this, university should be like this. Yes or no? The word should is a lie because it makes you believe that you're in control. It makes you believe that the world is working as per the guidelines you lay out for it. Let's face reality. Has your life worked the way you wanted it to work till today? Yes or no? Is it working right now the way you think it should be working? Do you think it's going to be working the way you think it's going to? Not maybe not. I can guarantee you not. Okay? Now you must be feeling, oh my God, this guy is here to discourage us. He's telling me that I should not have shoulds. Okay? And if I don't have shoulds, then what should I do? Should I just give up on life? Okay? No. You got to first be aware that your shoulds is your illusion that you are in control. The second lie that builds that relationship of resistance with yourself, the resistance of blame or shame or I'm not good enough or guilt, is this pressure of perfection. At every step of our lives, we are obsessing over getting things right. And our fears come from, what if this doesn't work? What if that doesn't happen? What if I do this course and I don't get a placement? What if I get a placement and I get a sucky manager? What if I get a good manager but the pay is not good enough? The entire pursuit of life is going in the desire for perfection, the need to get things right. And the reality is this: have you been flawless all your life? Are you flawless today? Do you have any hopes of being flawless tomorrow? But this is what we live and obsess over every single day, yes or no? The pressure of perfection. And then comes a third lie that really drains our energy and transforms our relationship with ourselves from love to blame and guilt and shame. The third lie is the victim consciousness. Why me? Poor me. I'm such a good person. What have I done to deserve this? Okay. And you know the beauty about victim consciousness, it's more addictive than any substances. Because you know, in Hindi they say, dard mein nasha hai, dard mein maza hai. There's a hidden joy in suffering. And most people love being victims because they enjoy the joy of suffering. The joy of suffering is best experienced in a middle class home. I grew up in a middle class family. And I'll tell you, I was conditioned with beliefs and programs about the world as though it's an evil place. And you, if you believe in someone, you trust someone, you're bound to be broken. I mean, look at the conversation even around money in an average middle class home. A dining table conversation around money is, rich people are manipulative. Kalyug aa gaya hai. Papi paisa bana rahe hain. Right? The entire conditioning is that only if you are evil will you be successful. So you know what happens? As a person who's growing up in that environment, you start making choices. Either you choose to be like your parents, nice, ethical, and broke, or you decide to be not like them. And you decide that the way to success is to put other people down. The way to success is to ruin other people's life, and that's when you can win. I want you to consider this. Victim consciousness is an addiction of those who are incapable and not willing to take responsibility. Because at least they feel like a good human being. And that's what they enjoy the most. And when something that is not as per their shoulds happens with them, they easily hide under the corner of, poor me. What have I done to deserve this? God only tests good people. Have you heard that crap? It's sold in wholesale. Okay? Now when you live your life under these three lies, where you're constantly having this sense of poor me, where you have this pressure of perfectionism, the need to get it right, and you have this list of shoulds on how the world should be, people should be, life should be, career should be, education should be. Tell me something. Will you have energy to pick yourself up to live a holistic life? No. You'll be drained every single day. And that drained energy only feeds into this a lot more. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because when you're drained, you again go back to victim consciousness, poor me. These three lies were the biggest reasons for me to fall in my own eyes, for me to not embrace who I am and the abilities that I can build. For me, the transformation began when I started busting these lies. When I started understanding the game, the truth of these perspectives. So let me give you the truth now. Would you be interested in the truth, everybody? So while the lie is the illusion of control, the truth is the space of freedom. Think about it. When I tell people, life doesn't work the way you think it should, Most people get scared to accept that statement because they think, if I accept that life doesn't work the way I think it should, then what's the purpose of waking up every morning and putting efforts? Most people dive into that corner of resignation and they live in denial saying, no, Rajiv, you're being negative. No, I'm not being negative. I'm being real. Life doesn't work the way you think it should. And when you see it without judging it as good or bad, you set yourself free. Because think about it. You will have shoulds for the rest of your life, in your health, in your wealth, in your relationships. Yes or no? And you will face regrets no matter how many shoulds you have. Yes or no? Now, when you understand that you will always have regrets, then how many of you agree you can choose your regret? Let me explain that to you. The girl I'm married to today was the girl I was pursuing when I was much younger. She was not interested in me for one simple reason. She said, you are Sindhi, I'm Gujarati, it'll create complications in the future. So I asked her this question. I said, look, you think you should marry a Gujarati, right? She said, yes. And I said, do you think by you fulfilling the should of I should marry a Gujarati, you will not have fights with that guy? She said, I will have fights. Do you think you will not have regrets when you're fighting with that guy saying, I should have gone with that Sindhi guy? Yeah. She said, yeah, I may have that regret. And I said, you know what? If you decide to date me and eventually things work out and we get married, will we fight? Yes. Will you have regrets that why did I marry this guy? Yes. So you'll have regrets either ways. Choose your regret. She chose. You want to understand this. When you make choices, knowing that as human you will carry your shoulds, and those shoulds will lead to regrets and upsets, then you no longer play safe. Because you rather play bigger. No? You rather play bigger. When I was in my final year of college, I got a job offer off campus with one of the big fours. I took that offer letter. I was excited. Went to my father. He tore the offer letter. I said, why? He said, why don't you start a business? And I was like, no, I'm too young. What if it doesn't work? What if this? What if that? The perfection pressure came in. Even he had the conversation with me. He said, if you start a business, will things work out the way you want them to work out? I said, no. Will you have regrets? Yes. If you take a job, will things work out the way you want it to work out? No. Will you have regrets? Yes. Choose your regret. Choose your regret. You want to understand accepting that the should is an illusion of control. And it's not like you'll get rid of it after this conversation. You will still have your shoulds. But now you will have the awareness that, there I go, one more should. There I go, the canteen food should be good. Okay? It's an illusion of control. So you want to understand this. Now you will have awareness. And when you have awareness that the should is a lie, life just works the way it does. And I'm going to have regrets either ways. You set yourself free to make bolder choices. You set yourself free to play a bigger game. By playing a bigger game, will you have shoulds in that as well? Yes. But then you have chosen that regret. So when I started choosing my regrets, I started setting myself free from my blame, from my guilt, from my shame, from my conversation of I'm not good enough. So this was the first key to my transformation. The second key to my transformation was of this lock, of this lie, the pressure of perfectionism. But the truth is this. You don't live life with the pressure of perfectionism. You live life with the madness of progress. Because think about it, perfectionism is a lie. It's a myth. It does not exist. You will not get everything right. Now when you embrace this, and I'm using the word embrace, not just understand. Understanding is logical. Embracing is something that you experience in your body. When you embrace that perfection is a lie, because you understand and realize that perfectionism only kills action. Because think about it. Every time you have to make a decision, if you go into this desire to get it right and you go like, what if it doesn't work? How many of you realize that what if it doesn't work paralyzes you? It doesn't even allow you to take the next step. Yes or no? So the truth is this. Perfectionism is a lie. It's a myth. It doesn't exist. It kills action. The reality is progress is the key. Progress is more important than perfectionism. Because in the game of progress, we are not looking at ultimate accomplishment and achievement. We are not even measuring that. We are just measuring, are we moving? Are we getting better? And when you play the game of progress, you set yourself from the fear of judgments of perfectionism. When you play the game of progress, you understand that version 1 is better than version none. Yes or no? Version 1 is better than version none. Some action is better than no action. Some progress is better than no progress. Perfectionists get stuck in analysis paralysis. Their mind is analyzing, will it work, won't it work, what if it doesn't work, and the body is paralyzed. They don't take action. So being a perfectionist is not a strength. It's actually a disease. It's a disease which hijacks your decisions and keeps you where you are. I've heard so many people say this, oh Rajiv, I had this idea, but Zomato executed it. Yeah. I had this idea, but Uber executed. Now that guy built Zomato, you are still eating tomato. Yeah. That guy built Uber, you are living life with Gobar. Because you were a perfectionist, you didn't get started. You want to understand this. The journey of success is shabby. Anybody who claims that they had the most seamless experience of growth, either in their health, wealth, or relationships, is a liar. Is a liar. Success is not a straight line from point A to point B. You know how success works? This is where you are today, this is where you want to go. You move towards it, and then you see a fall. Things don't work. And then you again pick yourself up. Then you see a fall. Then you go through this entire jalebi called life. And then finally, as you persist, you reach here. So it's not a straight line. Version 1 is better than version none. In fact, in the game of success, in the game of achievements, the person who's failed more number of times is more successful than the mediocre people who've not even tried that many times. Test this out everywhere you go. The richest person in the room is the person with the highest number of failures. Because the average people don't even try. The average people don't even try. Now, when you embrace this truth, you set yourself free from the pressure of perfectionism. You realize that the purpose is not to get things right. The purpose is to be in progress, to keep moving. Ye nahi chala, kuch aur. Wo nahi chala, kuch aur. Figure it out. That's how you evolve. Which was my second key of transformation. Which brings me to the third key. To this lock, to this lie. The victim consciousness. The why me, the poor me. The truth is this. You can't waste your life living like a victim. You got to be a playful warrior. And the key word there is playful. We've been conditioned by society with flawed milestones. When you were in your 7th grade, they told you board exam, 7th standard. I don't know if they still do board exams in 7th. When I was doing state syllabus, we had a board exam. Okay? Very, very important. Then you reach 10th grade. Very important. Then you reach 12th. Very important. Then you reach degree. Nothing's important. Those are 3 years of chilling. Okay? Then they say final year. Very important. Placement. Very important. When you get that job, they say appraisal. Very important. You've been sold this lie that you are some kind of a racehorse who's participating in an obstacle course. And you have to keep jumping these obstacles to win. No, my friend. The purpose of life is not for you to bog yourself down unnecessarily. It's for you to have a playful journey. So have a playful journey. For me, accepting that I can be playful was the biggest act of kindness I had on myself. Because in this reality of the world that has been sold to us the way it has, we've been conditioned to believe that certain things are failures, certain things are drawbacks, certain things are setbacks, and they shouldn't happen. But if you look back, your biggest drawbacks, your biggest setbacks have been the biggest turning points of your life. Success doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't teach you anything. All those experiences that you perceive as failures or label as setbacks, they were actually your badges of honor, because they helped you evolve. So that breakup that happened was to challenge you, to teach you something. That rejection that happened was to challenge you, to teach you something. And learnings are never going to limit you. Learnings are going to set you free. What do I mean by that? For a lot of people, what happens is when something doesn't work the way they think it should have, they go to the other extreme. You went through a betrayal, you go through the other extreme. I will never trust people. I learned my lesson. Sorry, that's not a learning. That's a limitation. That's a limitation when you oscillate to the other extreme. True learning sets you free, gives you joy. It doesn't limit you, it doesn't scare you, it doesn't put you in a box. So when you start understanding that every experience that you considered as a setback was actually a treasure of learning, that's how you evolve. That's how you grow. That's how you embrace your own evolution. And when you obsess over this idea of failing forward, because that's the only way to evolve, then you take on bigger games. Because the reality is this: the bigger your game, the bigger your challenges. The bigger your challenges, the bigger your failure. The bigger your failures, the bigger your lessons. The bigger your lessons, the bigger your wisdom. The bigger your wisdom, the bigger your growth. People waste their life playing too safe. The average group of this room would be what? 18, 19, 20? And at 18, 19, 20, if you're fretting over, where's my life going? Okay? Where am I going to reach in life? You've got it wrong, my friend. I know people in their 40s who still don't know where their life is going. You rather play courageously because you have the runway to play courageously. You rather experiment and get things wrong and wear those things that you thought were wrong as your badges of honor. I say this to you with absolute certainty. The people from this room who will shine are the ones who are going to get their hands dirty, who are going to taste some dust in the next 10 years. Not the ones who are going to play it safe and get things right as per the prescriptive model of the world. For me, embracing these three truths set me free. It allowed me to accept and embrace myself. It allowed me to work on my goals and desires, not with pressure, but with pleasure. It allowed me to build a business that I didn't even have in my dreams or imagination. Today, when I have a 150-member team, I look at that as 150 families being empowered. From a broke entrepreneur today, when I have auditoriums and sometimes massive rooms filled with 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 entrepreneurs, I look at it and tell myself, don't take yourself too seriously. Because it's not like I envisioned it to make it happen. It's just that I worked within. I set myself free from these three lies. And in this journey of progress, I was most willing to embrace my shabbiness. You know, we all look at certain people as achievers and we ask them questions like, how do you remain consistent? How do you remain disciplined? How do you remain high energy all the time? The truth is, nobody is perpetually consistent. Nobody is perpetually disciplined. Nobody is perpetually high energy all the time. They may pretend to for the outside world, but they are not. So, before I close, would you like for me to share with you the journey of shabby progress, everybody? Yeah? So consider this. This is the shabby journey of progress. The shabby journey of progress starts with a stage called ignorance, where you don't know what you don't know. See, when you don't know what you don't know, you feel Nane Raja. Right? You feel like, I'm the most wisest person walk the surface of this planet. In any area of your life, your health, your wealth, your relationships, when you don't know what you don't know, ignorance is bliss. Then what happens is you start exposing yourself to people, events, places, knowledge, concepts. You become inquisitive. You become inquisitive where you're like, okay, I'm curious. How is this person building a successful business? I'm curious, how has this person built a stock market portfolio? I'm curious, how is this person looking so fit in their 40s? I'm curious, how is this person enjoying life and traveling to all these exotic destinations? You become inquisitive. Now, when you become inquisitive, you want to become that person. You want to develop those capabilities. But then you realize you are not yet having the capabilities. You are incompetent. You're like, okay, they can, I can't. They can build that kind of a company. They can have that kind of understanding in their relationships. They can have that kind of discipline in their health. I can't. That's the stage of incompetence. Then from incompetence, and incompetence is discovered when you attempt something. Agree? When you attempt doing something, you discover that, oh, I don't have the capabilities. Then from incompetence, people move into indifference. You know what is indifference? It's a stage of, I don't care. See, when you lose at something, it hurts your ego. So the best way for your ego to win in that situation is for you to say, doesn't matter to me. I was never even playing for it. Yeah. So some people get lost in their indifference. They live a life of I don't care. These are the type of people who are sitting at the same chai ki dukan for years outside with their friends, while the others have moved on in life. Okay. Then you have this moment of inspiration, where again you encounter a person, an event, a conversation, a piece of content that inspires you. It reignites that passion where you're like, okay, I'll do whatever it takes. I know I tried in the past, it didn't work for me. I'll do whatever it takes now. Then from inspiration, you go into a stage called impatience. Saying, see, this time I'm trying, but it's still not working for me. It's like, going to the gym after hearing a fitness podcast. Okay. It's like for 1 full week, 7 full days eating clean, but still not seeing a difference. That's frustrating. Yes or no? Yeah. So that's where the impatience happens. It's like, it's working for everybody else, but it's not working for me. Somehow, the universe is conspiring against me. Okay? Victim consciousness tends to come back here again. But then comes the moment of wisdom, where you understand, where you truly become intelligent, that it's not about that goal, it's about the journey, it's about the process. When you commit to that journey, when you commit to that process, that's when you start seeing benefits. Now, when you have that wisdom with you, that this is the way I want to be. I want to pursue my health goals, my relationship goals, my career goals, my wealth goals, my recreation goals, my contribution goals. I just want to pursue them. I'm not expecting everything to happen and everything to fall in place every single day of my life. No. But that's constructive chaos. It's better than the chaos of survival, no? So when you have that wisdom and you pursue that holistic life, then you reach a point of impact where you start seeing results. You start seeing your health working, your relationships working, your wealth growing, your business growing. And when you stay consistent with impact, then it becomes your image, it becomes your identity. This is who I am. So ladies and gentlemen, anyone who you see as an icon for any aspect of their life goes through this journey. Unfortunately, what we see is only the last two. What we don't realize is the turmoil that all of us need to go through in this shabby journey of progress. So I want to leave you with a thought. As humans, would you agree that each one of us have imperfect senses? Yes? Which means what? I am seeing you. Am I seeing all the experiences you've been through life that makes you who you are today? My eyes are imperfect. I am hearing you. But can I hear all the conversations that you've heard that makes you believe what you believe till today? No. My ears are imperfect. Now with imperfect senses, we can only make imperfect decisions. With imperfect decisions, we can only live an imperfect life. So the reality is this: you are imperfect, and that is perfectly perfect. With that, I come to the end of my conversation. Enjoy your imperfection, everybody. Thank you.